I remember even being in a painting class, and it was so frowned upon to make art for just prettiness or walls that I remember painting the sides of my canvases because I thought it like finished the whole like look if you're gonna hang it on a wall. And my teacher kind of got mad at me. She was like, "What are you making art for? Oh, you're just gonna hang this on a wall and for show, for decoration?" I was like, "Yeah, I like to paint pretty things and like give them to people to hang in their house. I'm sorry."
That's Alexandra Marie, fine artist and creative entrepreneur who has built her art brand around nature and all of its pretty muses. In our conversation, we got to hear about her journey through art school and the business sense she developed along the way. We also got to hear about the key players in her life who helped inspire her to eventually create the beloved portraits she's known for, her clients' pets. Without further ado, the one-of-a-kind Alexandra Marie. So for artists to make it nowadays, it's a little bit different than it used to be.
Yeah.
So at what point in your journey was it clear that this is what my calling is, this is what I'm gonna do with my life?
I mean, from the beginning, from 3 years old. No, I'm just kidding. You don't think about your career at 3. But I definitely knew what my passion was at a very young age. I think I knew forever what I wanted to do. I didn't know I was going to be actually able to make it as my sole income ever, because that was really hard as an artist even just a few years ago.
Did you feel like your parents encouraged that in you?
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome.
They were always just like, follow your passion. Go to college, but follow your passion.
And you went to college
Yes.
while following your passion,
Yes.
right?
I was like, I can do both. I can
Yeah.
go to school for art and still
So what did you get your degree in?
studio art.
Okay. And where did you go to school?
UC Irvine.
Was it amazing?
Yeah, I loved it. I think I loved it most because it made me have studio time. And it's really hard as an artist, as you probably know, to make yourself do passion projects. If you're not making money off of something, making time for yourself. And I think school really did that for me. And it kind of like changed something in me to be like, no, I need to do this all the time.
What was the turning point where all of a sudden the passion project became a viable thing, a viable business?
I think it was when I was at school, when I was in Irvine. 2012 is when I graduated, so it's been a little while. And
Yeah.
I was like, I started doing art shows when I was in school, and I think that was like, I want my art to be out there. I want people to come see it. How do I make this happen? That kind of thing.
I'm an art history major,
Ooh,
but I
yes.
might as well have been an art studio major
Yeah.
because it was like the difference was a couple of credits.
Oh, totally.
And I remember going to art school and having a bunch of different classes filled with the same people at a certain point, because at a certain point you stick it out, just
Yeah.
like a smaller
Yeah,
cohort.
yeah.
I remember having these people that I was doing artwork alongside of, and they were asking questions about the what next conversation. Like, do I want to get into gallery work? Do I want to get into teaching? Do I want to get into all these different things?
Yeah.
Did you have the same experience with what you were, with your convictions, and all of a sudden realizing I want to do this professionally, but you have all these other people that you're doing alongside of that are having all of these doubts?
Yeah, that brings me back to a lot of feelings, actually. I forgot about that, getting over this hump. When I graduated, I remember feeling pretty resentful about my art teachers and just how they didn't really set us up for success to make money off of art, which I don't know if I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but at the time I was just like, I want to be an artist full time. Like, why is there no jobs lined up for me? I don't really want to be a teacher. I don't want to work in a gallery per se. Like, I want to be showing my work, and I don't have any connections, is kind of what I felt like. What I did was start to sell my work online, and I think that has got the ball rolling for me since then.
And you started with
You know what I mean?
Etsy, right?
Yeah, I started with Etsy. Yep.
And then when did you kind of catapult into using Instagram? Because I feel like that's like your main place now.
Yeah,
or-
now it is. Yeah. So Etsy, I mean, I still have an Etsy account. It is still really good for artists. So I started Instagram in 2011, and I would show kind of behind the scenes of art school, like studio time and everything. And I think I just realized people liked seeing what I was doing. And so in addition to Etsy, I was like, let's just start showing behind the scenes things on Instagram. And I don't think I really started making money from marketing on Instagram, and it was just like maybe 3 years ago.
Okay.
So I
And
hope
then-
that answered your question.
Yeah, no,
It's kind of
absolutely.
like all intertwined.
Right? I mean, having to go back in the recesses, I'm like, I don't even remember what I did yesterday.
Yeah,
So-
right. I know. This is bringing
that's-
up a lot of fun
that's good.
memories, actually, though. I like it.
Absolutely. Well, it's really neat that you had this revelation to bring people along in your journey and like tell your story without even probably knowing
Yeah,
that you were
definitely
doing
didn't even know that. Right.
Well, yeah, and kind of piggybacking on what you said, you mentioned that your art schooling, art preparation, there wasn't very much focus or attention paid to like how to build a
Career.
career,
No, not at
how to
all.
build a community around your art.
Yep.
And another thing that I remember from art school was the business behind art was not talked about hardly at all. And when
Yeah,
it was,
not
it
me
was
either.
totally frowned upon.
Yeah.
It was like,
yes. It was
like-
all about like the theory
Right.
and like what does your art mean,
Right.
which I love because obviously that is so important as
Totally.
an artist. But I think when you're a college student, you're like, oh, I'd like to pay off my student loans now.
Yeah, like how does
so-
is it really only starving artists? Is it
Yeah.
like if you're artist, then you must be starving? Or you're Thomas Kincaid, which back in the day,
Right.
Thomas Kincaid, the painter of light.
Right.
I remember so many
was a
different lecture
sellout.
classes. Exactly. They were all like
Don't be that.
yeah, exactly. Which unfortunately for Thomas Kincaid,
I know.
his business actually folded. But at the time, there wasn't any other recognition, like attention paid,
No.
to
Yeah.
artists that are trying to do that.
Entrepreneurs, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember even being in a painting class, and it was so frowned upon to make art for just prettiness or walls that I remember painting the sides of my canvases because I thought it like finished the whole like look if you're gonna hang it on a wall. And my teacher kind of got mad at me. Like she was like, "What are you making art for? Oh, you're just gonna hang this on a wall and you know for show for decoration?" I was like, yeah, I like to paint pretty things and like give them to people to hang in their house. I'm sorry, you know?
Because
So
it was
so
supposed to be like the expression.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
is
when
a
you're
whole
inside.
I'm not
It's a whole
frowning on
new
that.
world, yeah.
I'm just a little bit different where I did want to make money off it, but I didn't want to sell out. It
Right.
still means something to me. But like,
But like,
Come on,
you have
come
to be
on, teacher.
practical. You got to be practical, lady. Maybe she was just a little sad.
she's probably a little jaded.
Just a little
huh? Yeah,
jaded.
yeah.
You know?
She's an older artist. She's
Yeah.
like, no.
She's sad about it. She saw the talent in you and she just
Oh,
was a
yeah.
little
Oh,
jelly.
Well, yeah.
Probably not.
Well, we could dissect this for days because it's either in the art world, you have patron supporters, right? Which is super common and everybody, embraces that means of income. It's how it's always kind of been. Or you're somehow a part of this niche cohort.
Yeah.
I'm blasting
It's
the art
true.
community right now, but
I know, I feel really bad right now, but we're speaking the truth. And
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, I hope people listen to your podcast. I hope people that follow my brand listen to this because I have a lot of aspiring artists that reach
Yeah.
out and ask me questions. And I think it's important to know the things that we've struggled with as an artist. And
yeah, and
It's not- Yeah.
I think it's important.
Oh, absolutely. And every journey, it has like, you always have struggle
Yeah.
in any, journey that you're going through. And I feel like it's so nice when you're a listener to be able to hear somebody's story and you see all of the beautiful end product.
Yeah,
and
you
you
do.
don't ever get to see really what it took to get there.
Yeah, it
and
takes
so
a
to
lot,
be able
and-
to speak about that a little bit and share a little bit more of your story and some of the challenges is really important because it gives people the opportunity to feel like they can relate,
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
Yeah, and it also allows the message is empowerment, right? It's ultimately like, hey, you that is creating your own thing that is based on a passion that was born that you've had since birth or whatever, that can sustain and support you.
Yeah. It's crazy. Who would have
Right?
thought? Yeah.
And especially nowadays, I feel like more than ever, don't you feel like
More
with
than-
social media?
It's crazy.
Kind of, a little bit.
It's just so different. That's what I was going to say is
Yeah.
artists now, I kind of see this divide in the artists that I went to school with, like the teacher, the theory behind it, the expression behind it, almost just not even using social media and not selling work, but they're like this like little gallery clique. And then the artists that are on Instagram, just as an example, are just out there showing everything behind the scenes. selling using it.
So kind of thinking back now to your story and going back to that transition from art school to art brand.
Yeah.
You said that it happens at some point after then that you started like that your brand started to
Develop.
grow and
Yeah,
develop.
it was kind of a slow process. I don't think I was really aware that it was happening, like you said.
Yeah.
And then I had people make here and there comments about how I have a style. Like I do have my own style of work, which I think sometimes as an artist you don't really see. Like I was like, oh, I like to paint antlers and deer. So does a lot of people, right? But everybody does have their own style.
Did you feel like you were saying that the first kinds of things that you were painting were antlers and things like that, but now I feel like people know you most for painting pets? Would you say that's true?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I did not mean to roll my eyes.
Right?
just now.
Well, I just mean like
Oh
you don't.
my gosh. Can we not talk about the dogs for
right?
a second?
No, praise the Lord that I
For the
have
dogs, right?
found that niche.
Oh yeah.
And
Okay.
I have, yes.
Yeah.
dive
So
in.
the niche.
Yes. The
Sorry to
niche.
cut you off
no,
on that,
the
but-
niche.
The niche.
But
yeah.
so did the niche find you, or did you find the niche? Was it like,
kind of a
I know what I'm going to do?
beautiful mix of both.
Okay.
I love this story because this is how I truly feel like this is what catapulted. This is why I was able to quit my full-time job and be a full-time artist, was this pet portrait niche
Okay.
2 years ago.
And what happened? Tell us.
So my sister works with Lauren Conrad. Lauren loves her dogs. One of them just died. I'm really sad about that. But loves her dogs. My sister was trying to figure out what to get her for her birthday. And she was like, hey sis, do you think you could paint Lauren's dogs for me? I did not think anything of it. I was like, they're so cute. Let's do this. So I did a little watercolor portrait. Lauren, so sweet, did not have to do this, but she shared it on Instagram, and within an hour, I got like 40 emails being like,
Whoa.
can you paint my dog?
Gave me goosebumps.
It was the craziest thing. I remember
crazy.
exactly when it happened. I was at work at my full-time job, and I was like, no way, this is insane. These people like what I did, and they want me to do it for them. Whoa.
Wow.
And I was very much overwhelmed, very much didn't have a website or anything. I had my Etsy,
Yeah.
and I just didn't, it made me kind of like hit the ground running, which I thrive off of anyway. So that it worked, but
Yeah. And then did you,
It
at that
was so
moment, were you
cool.
like, did you flip the switch and then just go full-fledged into that? Or did you keep your day job going for a
I
while?
kept my day job for a
Okay.
while, yeah. But not even that long. I mean, that
Like
was
how
in
long?
February. I quit in July.
Okay.
So
So
I
pretty
feel
quick,
like that was
just a
pretty
couple
quick.
months. That is.
Yeah. I didn't want to turn anybody down. I wanted to paint everything for everybody because this was my literal dream was coming true. And by then I actually had been trying to market myself on social media. So I knew what was like kind of happening, and I was very much aware that this could be a great opportunity if I just seized it, you know?
So then after you have these 40 clients and you start working on those 40 clients,
Yep.
then what was it like to go back to the system, go back to whether it was a website or it was emailing, go back to your strategy of marketing yourself?
Yeah.
What was that process like?
Trial and error, as it still is.
Right. I mean, so true.
I realized that showing, because I had been showing my work before then, but I think the pet thing, it just, every time I'd post a pet picture, people were going crazy. I was getting the most engagement from those posts, and we're going to talk about Instagram a lot because that is literally why I have my job. So
Absolutely. So what I'm hearing you say is that you were listening to what your audience was
Yes.
wanting.
Oh, fully.
And then you were
Yeah.
crafting your strategy
Yeah.
around the engagement and seeing that people
Yeah.
are really liking pets. And so
Yeah.
you kind of just poured into that niche more and more.
I did. Yeah, definitely. And I still am. I think that I already liked animals. I was already painting animals, painting a lot of nursery things. So it was already kind of in my style and in my realm of what I was doing, that I didn't feel like I was just selling out, you know, because I think it's important to listen to your audience, but also I think as an artist and as a creative person, it can be soul sucking to just make things for money, for what people want. You need to feed your soul and paint what you want to paint. And so
Absolutely.
it kind of was just natural. Like I enjoyed painting pets. I still do.
So how have you protected yourself from the negatives of Instagram and particularly like your artistry too,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
your passions, your joys and everything.
Yeah. I think one downside of sharing art and sharing on Instagram is being wrapped up in how many followers you have and how many likes you get. If I'm being totally honest, we all feel the same way, you know? And if I'm posting this painting that I'm like, I did such a good job, like I'm actually proud of something, which isn't very often because I'm an artist and I hate everything that I paint, right? Because that's like what you do as an artist. No, I'm just kidding. So if I post something that I really love and it gets like no likes, it's kind of tied in with how I feel about it at that point. And like it adds value or it lessens the value of my work, which I think is really scary. And I think a lot of people can relate, even if you're not an artist, with Instagram. And I think it's hard to, how I protect myself was your question. Geez, I don't know. I do care sometimes and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm just like, this is so stupid. Why, my value doesn't lay here.
Right.
Well, yeah, I think the interesting relationship with an artist and their work is the level of detachment,
Yeah.
right? Like you're fully invested in this thing that you're creating, but you're also detached from it.
Yeah.
You're attached enough to make it a commodity
Yeah.
and give it away.
That's a thing. But certain things, if I'm painting something for myself, which is not that often, but when I post something about that, the things that I sell are a little different, like you're saying. I'm definitely more detached.
But the personal.
Yeah, it's the personal things. And I'm like, oh yeah, you guys aren't feeling this? Fine, me either. No, I'm just kidding. I'm
really
super
sucks.
stubborn and I'm like, well, screw you. I'm making this like, you're going to love it at the end, I swear. It's like I don't know. As
have
a
to take
business owner,
pride
you have
in
to,
your-
you like kind of like that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're like.
Drives you a little bit.
Yeah, it drives me.
Marketing is really tough. Can
It is.
you give some tips to people who are trying to market themselves?
Yeah. I mean, I'm no expert, but I think one of the important things is, this is going off of Instagram a little bit. I think it's important to market in different ways. I think social media is great, but I think in person is really important. I think getting out there into your community and finding, as an artist, for example, it's easier for me because I can get out there and find little vendor shows that people are having, and that's usually in every town. I have made so many connections by doing events. Your audience,
Yeah.
what are they doing? Where are they going?
Yeah.
My audience, pet portraits. I've done 3 events with the Front Street Animal Shelter in Sacramento. Hello.
Brilliant.
Right there. They love their pets and their cats, and I can paint them.
So did you kind of think of that?
You have to think about your audience.
So you kind of reached out to different businesses and
Yeah,
wanted to partner.
always reaching out.
That's really smart.
My slower times, I'm like, okay, so where can I go meet people, talk to people? Because also word of mouth is so important still. Making connections in person
Absolutely.
and online.
Yeah,
And then them telling people, it's just like
Both.
It's necessary.
Right. Because I feel like online, it's really easy to kind of just like live in an online space and just
Yeah.
feel like, wait, this has happened for all these other people. Why isn't it
Yeah,
happening for me?
totally.
And I think when it comes to business, you hit the nail on the head. It's about relationships.
Yeah,
so you
it
have
is.
to be forging new relationships. And if it's not happening for you online, then go out in the community.
Yeah,
like,
why not?
Email people.
Yeah.
See who you can connect with. Because
And-
I think that's really, really important. I
Yeah.
agree with you 100%.
And even more than that, it informs the way you're handling the same relationships online. I think sometimes,
It informs them. Is that what you said?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when you're online talking with a lot of people,
Yeah.
or not even talking with them, but just seeing the way that they're engaging with something.
Right.
Like for you, engaging with the artwork, all of a sudden that those numbers become less people and more numbers.
Yeah.
And the
Which
comment.
is so sad.
Right, exactly.
I saw this really good quote. This girl I follow on Instagram, she's just like gotten so real lately just with having a business online. And she was like, what if you only got 15 likes on a photo? Picture that there are 15 people and you're in a room showing them your work and they're clapping for you. There's 15 people right there. And why are we like, no, that's not enough. That's
Right.
gross. You know
So
what I mean?
true, yeah.
And I was like, wow. Now every time I'm like, oh, 50 people right there clapping for me. That's so many.
It's amazing.
I don't know.
It's
I
a
like
really
that.
good
That was a little
perspective.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think to be thinking of the followers or the numbers as real people.
They're
is
real
really
people.
important. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And knowing that they have that everybody that's on like a social platform, we're all just looking for a place to belong. We're all looking for
Totally.
community,
Yeah.
and to feel like you can connect and use it
Yeah.
for how it's intended to be used is a beautiful thing. Because I feel like sometimes people get frustrated with it.
Yeah.
But it
I
doesn't
think
have
people
to
can
be.
focus on the negatives,
Yeah.
and it's like
But it's your perspective in life, right?
totally.
Yeah.
Glass half full.
You're that
Yes,
kind.
yes, I try.
What do you feel like are some of the most important pieces that you've ever created?
Oh,
in
okay.
art?
So I think the most important piece that I've done is the Lion and the Lamb one. Do you guys remember that one? Yeah. That, I just cannot, I mean, it's gone viral on Pinterest. I've had people copy it, which pissed me off at the moment, but it's flattering, right, guys?
That's honestly,
I'm
that's
like,
amazing.
okay,
It's
this is
amazing that you
weird.
created that.
So
image.
yeah, so
It's
tell us the
just-
story on
It's
how
beautiful.
that piece came to be.
It's kind of funny because I feel like it didn't take me, it just came out of me. I was painting one summer. I was actually at church and I was painting with the high school students. I was teaching a little art class, and I just kept thinking about the Lion and the Lamb, you know, what would be like a really cool image. I had thought of it, but the way it came out just came out on the canvas, you know. So it's this little lamb, and it's kind of like looking up into this abyss, I guess. And the shadow of it is a roaring lion. And I think whether you're Christian or not, that's just a really powerful image for courage or the underdog or whatever you are seeing it as. So I think because it meant something, it was more than just a pretty picture. It had a meaning. I think people have just responded to it, and somebody actually got it tattooed on them, which I think is really cool.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, somebody got it, like their full forearm. It has the Lion and the Lamb.
Do you know this person?
No.
That's so cool.
It was really cool. The tattoo artist reached out on Etsy and was like, I have this client who brought this image in. Can I get your permission to do it? So I really appreciated that because
That's cool.
the internet can be shisty.
Yeah, for sure. That's amazing.
But isn't that
Alex.
cool? Yeah,
That is
yeah.
so cool.
I think in that moment
I
I was
love
like,
that story.
dang, I never thought. I mean, I have drawn tattoos for friends, but a stranger,
It's incredible.
It was cool.
Alex, I know that you've had some people purchase your art that are kind of a big deal. Can you share?
Kind of a big deal.
Can you share maybe?
Hey, what's that on the floor? I want
Right.
to pick up that name. Name drop. No, I'm just kidding.
Who? Just tell me who. Just share.
Okay, I think like
'Cause it's a cool
the
story.
first story that comes to my head, which I loved this moment. I painted Diane Keaton's dog once. It was a gift to her, but when she got it, she called me to thank me. I almost shit my pants. Sorry, I don't know if we can cuss, but
You're fine.
I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm talking to Diane Keaton on the phone, you know? And she sounded exactly how she does in movies. She's like such a spaz. And she was just like, I can't believe this is watercolor. This is watercolor? Is this really watercolor? I can't believe you did this. Like, she was going on and on. It was so funny. She was like, and I still want to do this. So thank you, Diane, for this idea. If I someday make this, she was like, you need to make a book of dog. Make a big coffee table book with all the paintings you've ever done. And I was like, done. Yes, I will do that.
Alex, that's actually brilliant.
I know. I'm like, that's why you're amazing, Diane.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Diane.
You're like, you got
Top of
like
your head?
15
Thank
minutes
you.
of business advice from Diane Keaton.
No, it was like 3 minutes, and it was a lot shoved into 3 minutes.
Wow.
It was so funny.
That's incredible.
So
the book of dog.
yeah.
You actually
It's gonna
need to do that.
happen someday.
No, for real.
Yeah, I need to do it.
Your story is so much one that you've taken that like extra step to fight for your brand, and you haven't just like sat back and waited
No,
for
I, like,
the
don't-
opportunity to come to you. Like
Yeah.
you're out like making it happen in the community.
Yeah, I think a lot of
and-
people are nervous about doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it takes courage
Yeah, I think it's
to
easy
be like,
for
hey, you want to partner? You want to work with me?
Hey, you
or-
like my stuff?
Yeah.
You want to sell it in your store? Cool, thanks.
Well, I think
take
it's
courage.
even bigger than that, though. Honestly, I think for a creative, it's so easy to get in your head and to, like
Yeah.
start battling that inner critic,
comparing, and there's so much
it's-
out there.
Exactly.
This one time, I was having an art show. This is a couple years out of college, but I think it was my first solo art show. Made it happen in this little shopping center in Orange County. this guy, this stranger, he comes walking through. I think it's like opening night, and I have like live music and food, and I'm so proud of this little baby that I made. This guy comes through and he's looking, and I'm just like, "Hi, how's it going?" Just trying to be friendly, talk to him, and he's like, "I think eventually you'll find your style." It was like, that was a blow to the ego.
gosh.
He just was like, "Yeah, I don't really know what you're going for yet, but I think it's going to happen." I was like, "Dude, I'm going to go home now." Yeah, this is closed. No, I'm just kidding.
That's so
But that was, it's funny, the
defeating
negative
feeling.
things that you remember.
Yeah.
That was like
Yeah.
8 years ago, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still remember.
Oh my gosh, what a mean guy. Yeah, words are so powerful. So I feel like it's important to
Everybody's got their opinion,
Everybody's got their opinion.
It's rough. It's rough
Everyone's got
out
their
there.
opinions. So, Alex, one of the things that you mentioned earlier was how important it is for creatives and artists such as yourself to get out in the community and market in the community. So, how have you been doing that? And what are some businesses that you've partnered with and some great relationships that you've forged recently?
Yeah. One of the ones I mentioned before is Front Street Animal Shelter. That's for events. But I've gotten into a couple local shops in our little Northern California area, which I love. The Hive shop in Diamond Springs. They carry some art prints and some greeting cards. Ellen, the shop owner, so sweet. And she supports small business, women-owned shops. I'm also in the local Rodwork store, and they have stores on the West Coast in a few different states, but they're a larger company. I've been designing with them, and I'm working on their spring line. Actually, we just finished the spring line, so those coming months, I'm going to be creating more Christmas things,
That is
for next
so
year.
exciting.
Wow.
And yeah, did my own little exclusive Christmas line.
How did it do? I
for
feel like people
2019.
loved it, right?
Yeah, I got a good response.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. So
I
if you
was
didn't get anything, there's more to come,
Yeah,
right?
more to come.
More to come.
Yeah.
So, other than Book of Dog,
Yes,
what
yes.
are some other things that you're looking forward to in the next chapter of your
Coming
business?
years, next chapter. I feel change is on the horizon. I really want to hone in on marketing. Like I said before, fly by the seat of my pants kind of girl. If I'm inspired by something, I'm inspired and I do it. But I need to better plan ahead. I want to have like my months planned out with marketing, basically. Another thing I'm doing a new collection. It's in the works right now. I've never done that before, and it's something I've always wanted to do as an artist. So Cohesive, I want to bring it around, hopefully to local galleries and see what they think, and maybe have a show next year. That would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, just ever evolving, ever changing. I can't see what's on the horizon with my business, and that's the one thing I've learned is just to go with the flow.
So with marketing, what efforts are you taking to learn more about it? I mean,
Yeah.
you were saying that you wanted to hone in on it. What does that mean to you?
I think a lot of what I do, it means imagery. So I think that my photographs that I'm sharing are really important. And I think just planning ahead with that, having photo shoots very,
Regularly and
very regularly,
Yeah,
consistently,
consistently.
because it's not right now. But I think that's the biggest thing.
Okay. So consistent photo shoots so that
Yeah.
you have enough content.
Just
to be
because
able
my
to-
content is, or my art is, it is all about seeing it. If I want to reach my audience, I want to reach my clients, show them what I can do, I need to have nice pictures to do that.
That's true.
Also, reaching out to One Kind Creative if I have any
Oh.
questions. That's for
Whoa.
sure.
One Kind Creative.
Ooh,
Well,
the smartest people I know.
You know that we are your best friends.
Oh, yeah.
So we
Oh,
would
yeah.
love to help you with that.
there's that.
Absolutely.
No, I've already bounced ideas off of you.
We love
and
talking about it.
Yeah,
we have fun
yes,
talking about it
it's-
for sure.
Yeah, you make it fun. I think marketing for a lot of people is really stressful or scary because when you say marketing for your business, like, wow, that's why you guys have a job, because people can't do it themselves, or they don't have the vision. They don't know what their vision is until you work with them. And I think you're so personable and you make it so comfortable. You make it easy. This is a free plug, by the way. They did not
Whoa.
tell me to say this.
This is not
I
expecting this
truly
at all.
feel like this about them. So.
Oh, thank you. That's so flattering, Alex.
Yes. You're just
Because-
encouraging for businesses also. I think that is so important as a business owner to be encouraged. Like that's
Absolutely.
keep us going.
Absolutely. Well, Kevin and I feel like we can see the beauty in people, pretty easily. And so when it comes to you and your art, I mean, you just shine. And we feel so privileged that you wanted to come and talk with us. Where can people find you, Alex?
Instagram, Alex Makes Art, ALEXZ Makes Art. And my website, which is alexandramarieart.com.
Perfect.
There you go.
Give
Thanks
her a
again.
follow, buy some art because she is an incredible artist. And I have
You're too sweet.
a beautiful butterfly jacket that she painted.
She
and
does,
I
you
love
do.
it. I love it. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for listening. Don't be a stranger. Hit the subscribe button and let us know how you enjoyed the episode in already on the podcast app or in the comments below if you're watching. And remember, you're one of a kind.